Hey everybody, Drew here, Director of Student Ministries at Copper Community Church in Lenexa, Kansas. I hope you all enjoyed your week. It was wonderful, beautiful weather out there with the sun shining. I hope you took some time and got outside to enjoy that and spent some time in that. I certainly did. So I'm starting to get excited because I'm starting to figure out what a routine looks like for me in this life with being quarantined. I'm starting to figure out what work looks like, how I can set a schedule and get back on that routine and set up to where I need to be. I hope you are as well. In fact, I hope that makes it easier for you guys as students who have just started school. I hope that you are slowly getting to a routine and slowly getting started through all of that. Yeah. So last week, we started a series called Worth It. We talked about week one. We talked about how Jesus suffers in all ways. We talked about how when he was praying in the garden, before he had to suffer, before he knew everything that was going to happen to him, he asked if there was another way. But the fact of it there wasn't. And in the long run, he decided that suffering was worth it. We talked about how our Jesus who suffers is a Jesus who suffers with us, someone who has been through it. He's not just someone who is there to comfort us because, they don't know what's happening. But he's there because he understands. He gets it. He helps us through it. This week, we're going to start our second and final week of our series, Worth It, as we talk about how Jesus who lives in us. How after the resurrection, he came back and he was part of us. He lives through things we do every day because he gave us that chance. So imagine this. You've been training for your favorite activity or favorite team for a while now. And finally, this big event's coming up. This team is getting started. You have this opportunity to join. So you start to work harder. You start to train and practice. And you just start to go and go and go and fight for this chance to be on this team. Finally, the big day comes. You go to try out. So you get there and you go and you work your hardest. You figure things out. But in the long run, you don't make it. You don't make the team. You get turned away. They say, sorry, we don't need you. How would that make you feel? For me, it would be devastating. But now, see, let's focus on this. I have two choices from here. First, I can find someone who's going to comfort me, someone who's going to be there for me, someone who's going to help me through things, and someone who's going to lead me to a better place. Or I could find someone who's going to challenge me, someone who's going to push me and train me, someone who's an expert at this, to be better, to get better, and to fight harder, so next year when it comes up to it, it's worth it. So sometimes the second person isn't always going to make us feel better, but sometimes they're the better choice. Now, the fact is, sometimes we need comfort, but sometimes we need to be pushed, and we need help. The fact is we all suffer, and that's just how it is. Sometimes we suffer and don't know why, and sometimes it's because we suffer because of our own mistakes. So last week we talked about suffering. We talked about how Jesus suffered and how we suffered. We talked about that. We talked about how we all suffer. But the fact is Jesus suffered like us, but there was one big difference. He never messed up. He never hurt others, and he never made a bad choice. And the fact of it is we do. But he also cares when we hurt ourselves. And he's there to comfort us, but a lot of times, like this person who can help us with training, we need more than comfort. We need help. Last week, we talked about how before the cross, all that suffering happened, how he went through it, and how he dove into it, and he knew it was worth it in the long run, and it came out to be worth it. Because without that suffering, there would be no resurrection. There wouldn't be the moment that changed everything for us. Without resurrection, would our faith mean anything? Would there be power in the gospel, or would it just be a feel-good story? Jesus stayed dead. If Jesus had stayed dead, is following him worth it? But the fact of it is it happened, and it changed everything. And it made following Jesus worth it. The fact is, these questions that I just asked have been asked time and time again. Even in the Bible. We look at a man named Paul. He's an apostle who wrote letters. A lot of the New Testament was written. They were letters written to the church. One of those was the letter to Corinth, also known as Corinthians, which is part of your reading that I recommended in the passage below. Not in the passage below, but in the paperwork below. I hope you truly take some time to look at it and read into that. But the fact of it is what Paul did is he wrote to the town of Corinth, and he wrote them and said, hey, this is why it was worth it. This is what changed. He came in and he helped people understand, and that's what it was. But the fact of it is, if that resurrection hadn't happened, there'd be no power to save us from our sins. He died to give us comfort from our sins, but more than anything, he died so we could have freedom from our sins. And the fact is, our sins hurt others, they hurt ourselves, and they hurt God. And there's nothing in our power that we can do to stop that. That's just how sin is. But the fact of it is through the resurrection of Jesus, our sins are forgiven, and we can be redeemed. Thank you all for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week coming up. I hope you begin to prepare your hearts for Holy Week as we step into it next week and as we prepare for Easter. I'm here for all of you. If you ever need to reach out, please do. I hope you have a blessed week and a wonderful time. God bless. Thank you.